up, everybody? Welcome back to Crash Blade Gaming. I am your host, Crash, and when I was doing the pack video opening, we got a Houndstone EX, and I was super excited to showcase that Pokemon because I really liked the Houndstone deck that I had featured about, I guess, maybe like a month or two ago. I don't know. Anyways, I really like playing that deck with Gardevoir EX, so hey, we have a bigger, better attacker, I think, does more damage, requires less Pokemon. So we'll see how it goes. I've been tinkering with the number of psychic Pokemon in the deck, but we'll talk about that stuff in the deck list anyways. Super excited to show this deck off. Let's go ahead and get to the Pokemon question of the day. Okay, we got a pretty spicy competition for the Pokemon question of the day. Let's go ahead and go over last video's question. Which VMAX Pokemon does more damage based on how much the opposing Pokemon has in its retreat cost? And if you were like all the commenters that guessed on the question, you went ahead and guessed Leafeon VMAX. Now, if you're guessing in your head, that's okay, but why not participate? You could win yourself some code cards, which is pretty cool, and all it takes is a tiny little comment onto the video to start participating in this, so go ahead and go for it. Anyways, congratulations to Danilo, Tommy, and TheLinkhawkins. You guys all gained another point, and I believe that gives all three of you 2 points. So this next question, the first person to answer it will win the first place prize, and then the second person will win the second place prize. And you know what? Since if all three of you answer, then we'll give away a third place prize as well. I'm feeling a little generous with that, so we'll go ahead and do that. So without further ado, this video's question is, which Pokemon card has an ability that limits your opponent's bench spaces to 3? Go ahead and put your answer in the comment section down below to earn yourself a point onto this question series. And remember, when you get to 3 points, you win some code cards for Pokemon TCG Live. So it's awesome. And hey, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you enjoyed the content, and let's get into the deck list. I'm finally getting around to doing Houndstone EX. Been wanting to do this, guys, since I first pulled one in the pack opening. It is a Stage 1 260 HP Psychic Pokemon with 2 attacks for 1 Psychic Energy. It does Big Bite for 30 damage, and it doesn't allow your opponent's Pokemon to retreat next round, which can come in handy sometimes. And then the main attack here, Last Respects, for 3 energy, does 160 damage plus 10 more damage for each Psychic Pokemon in your discard pile. So it's basically a super powered version of the baby Houndstone here with the 140 HP Last Respects attack, but this one only costs 2 energy. It does 80 plus 10 for each more damage. So you're getting an additional 80 damage for 1 extra energy, and you're also getting a 260 HP, so 120 extra HP onto the Houndstone. So we're of course playing a 4-2-2 line of this. It is possible that we go in with Houndstone EX, take some early turn KOs, take some early turn damage, and then we can clean up with Houndstone, or we can clean up with the Mewtwo V-Union here, which is an awesome V-Union Psychic Pokemon. Psy-Explosion and Final Burn are the 2 main attacks that this card will be using for 3 and 4 energies respectively, which is awesome. We're also playing 2 copies of Klefki here with the Mischievous Lock ability. As long as we start this Pokemon, it's in the active. Your opponent's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities, which is good. Shuts off Chien-Pao, Genesect, things like that. Every Pokemon that's basic that has an ability. We're also playing, of course, 1 copy of Manaphy so we can protect our bench from Greninjas. You won't see Mimikyu in the video, but I added a Mimikyu after the video was over, after I was done recording, and I realized, why aren't we playing Mimikyu? This Pokemon can do a lot of things, preventing the damage done by EX and Pokemon V. Like, for example, Charizard is only playing, like, either Charmeleons, maybe, or they're playing Charmanders, and maybe a, a Barrel. That's the only thing that can hit Mimikyu, so I was like, I'm going to throw this in here. It could be a nice little wall Pokemon in the early games, because sometimes it takes us a little bit to power up our damage output. We are also playing a 4-3-2 line of Gardevoir EX in here. It's basically in here just to do the Psychic Embrace ability so we can power up a Pokemon. And we also have 1 copy of Spiritomb, also shutting off basic Pokemon V abilities, which is a nice little inclusion here. We can include a bunch of Psychic Pokemon like this because if we don't need them, we discard them. And they make our Houndstones do more damage. And honestly, I really just took my skeleton of the Houndstone deck and just made it to where I can incorporate the Houndstone EX and add a few other newer cards and things like that into the deck here. So we are playing 2 copies of Super Rod, which is notable, 2 copies of Artisan help us set up, 4 copies of Level Ball and Fog Crystal, also helping us set up our Pokemon, 1 copy of Palpad. Yeah, I think you can remove Palpad in this deck, but it does let you recycle boss orders, which may be interesting for you to use. We are including 1 copy of boss orders, 2 copies of Iono, I believe we have 4 copies of Research here as well. 2 Serena. You don't see Serena too often anymore because not many decks playing Pokemon V, but it does allow you to discard 3 cards, so that's why there are 2 copies of Serena. We're also only playing 6 Psychic Energy, and you're like, whoa, only 6? It's like, yeah, we just have to get 3 in the discard, and we can attack with any of our Pokemon. So 6 Psychic Energy. one copy of Zinnia's Resolve. I want to put 2, maybe go down to 1 Serena and 2 Zinnia. It's just Zinnia can sometimes not be as good as Serena, because Serena discards 3, Zinnia discards 2. Zinnia may also only draw you like 2 or 3 cards. Same thing with Serena, so you get a little bit more discard with Serena just in case. And we also included 1 copy of Worker as well, because we're only playing 2 stadiums, so we need a way to bounce the Path to the Peak, because if our opponent plays Path to the Peak, it's really hard for us to get Houndstone going, so Path to the Peak does shut this deck down relatively easily. But that is the deck. It is in the description down below. Houndstone EX is a powerhouse of a psychic Pokemon, so we can go watch that bad boy in action. Hey, well, if you're down there in the description copying the deck and you're new to the channel, subscribe. Go for it. Do it. I know I said a lot in this video, but I'm just going to keep harping anyways. Let's go watch this deck in action. Oh, I forgot my opponent was going first, so I would not have put the Ralts down. But that's okay. They're starting with Squawkabilly. They had to mulligan a few times, which showed us that we are playing up against a Lugia here. Tails is good for them. That gets them their Lugia V. Very nice. I might Ultra Ball for Spiritomb right away. Depends on what happens here. They can retreat the Squawkabilly, which is fine. Funny enough, Mewtwo KOs Squawkabilly with just the Side Explosion attack. Ooh, a lot of energies going to the discard. No Archeops, 4 energies in the discard already. That's insane. Playing a Drapion and a Luxray, another Lugia. So it is colorless Lugia, sort of. Okay, so we don't want to Iono just yet. But Fall Crystal's nice. That'll get us another Ralts. And then we can Ultra Ball away Mewtwo piece. Hold on, I like to do this so that I keep my full arts. Ultra Ball away those. And this is going to grab us a Spiritomb. Just in case our opponent plays Lumineon, we can throw that down. And then let's go ahead and Iono. I know we're going to give them 2 more cards, but it's okay. We want to set up some more. I want to get at least another Greavard down, which we do. Mimikyu could be a sneaky play as well. Let's go ahead and use the Fog Crystal to get down another Greavard. And then we can just pass the turn from here. Next turn we can Ultra Ball, get rid of a few things. Mimikyu's not going to be as good because they are playing Snorlax, as we see. But we gave them 2 more cards than what they originally had. A Gift Energy onto the Lugia V. Are they going to be able to get off their Archeops this turn? They're just going to read the winds. They might just discard 1 Archeops here. They do. Alright, so we are looking good for now. Serena, let's go ahead and play Level Ball. That gets us our Kirlia. We're not ready to attack just yet, but we can put some ping damage on this Lugia at some point. We can Ultra Ball away these. Grab ourselves a Mewtwo piece. Don't need Artisan. Let's go ahead and research. Can also do Big Bite. Stop it from retreating. What does this one do? It's knocked out, they get to draw. Okay. Gonna Refinement away an energy. Level Ball's good. That gets us another Kirlia. And that puts another Pokemon in the discard with that Klefki that we see. Having 2 Kirlias is good because I could have bossed one and then Gardevoir would not be coming out. There's a Gardevoir. Got 4 Pokemon, so Baby Greavard will be doing 40 damage. Houndstone EX will be doing 30, but then they can't retreat. They're most likely going to get the Summoning Star off this following turn, and they could get another Lugia into play and attack us for 200. So I think we're best off doing this and evolving the bench. Maybe not. Maybe not evolve just yet. We'll hold the rest of the cards. We'll go ahead and ping them for 40. This sets up damage for our Houndstone EX or our baby Houndstone to take the KO on the Lugia V-Star. 280 is quite hard to hit until we get to the late games. So there's that. They put a Bravery Charm onto the Snorlax. Even at 200 HP. That's a thick boy. Love me some Snorlax though. So I think our prize mapping here is probably KOing Lugia, V-Star, couple Snorlaxes, and then a Squawkabilly. Oh, they're just going to Summoning Star one Archeops into play. Wow, okay. That's very interesting. If we hit for 160, they must have energy in hand. They do. So if we hit for 160, that's 200 damage. We're going to put another Pokemon into the discard. So we need a few more Pokemon. They're going to boss up a Kirlia, I'm assuming. That's fine. Rather than boss up Kirlia than the Greavards. That puts 2 Pokemon in the discard. And how many energy do we have? We just have 1 energy in the discard. 6 Pokemon in the discard, 1 energy in the discard. Klefki's a great top deck. Let's go and evolve into Houndstone EX. And we're doing 220. So we just need 1 more person in the discard. So let's go ahead and refinement away the Klefki. Great, perfect, perfect. We have 1 energy, so we need a 2nd energy in there. Let's go ahead and Fog Crystal for it. And we can play Zinnia. Get rid of Mewtwo piece basic energy. That's all good for me. We will attach to the Houndstone. We will evolve the Kirlia. I'm thinking of playing PAL Pad to put back in Iono. Maybe not quite yet. Go ahead and Psychic Embrace. Attach an energy to the Houndstone. That's all we need. Don't need to play anything else. Let's go ahead and hit them for 240 damage with Last Respects. Taking the KO on this Lugia. The backup Lugia may not be able to attack this turn, but they might if they have a double turbo. However, if they attach 2 double turbos, we're not too worried about them KOing us. 1 double turbo's in the discard, so they're running short on energy, I think. We also have 8 Pokemon in the discard. So, if they somehow manage to KO this Houndstone, we should have another Houndstone ready to go. Ooh, they are going to be able to use Snorlax, but Snorlax doesn't quite do enough. Nest Ball from our opponent. I don't necessarily need to do anything my next turn. I know Boss is in the deck to get another Snorlax to blocking Snorlax. Uh-oh. Your boy doesn't play any Switch. So we're going to... Oh, we do play Boss. Okay. It's not too bad. We do play Boss. We don't have a way to discard Pokemon just yet. We put down another Lugia V. Thumping Snore for 160, not quite KOing us. Super Rod, let's go ahead and play the Level Ball here. Grab a Ralts. And play the Fog Crystal to grab an energy. Things we don't need. And to be honest, we can KO the Archeops. And Snorlax shouldn't be too much of a problem. We're going to go ahead and boss up the Archeops, because why not? It's the only thing they have in play, and we will KO it. Now, our opponent could boss up one of our other Pokemon and get it stuck in the active. However, any of our Pokemon they boss up we can attack with, like Spiritomb, Greavard, we can evolve into Houndstone EX. We have 1 energy in the discard. We can attack with 1 energy for it, so the blocking Snorlax isn't that much of a problem. It'll be a problem if they do stick us and we are stuck. There's a research. They do attach double turbo to that Snorlax. They are going to get a KO this turn, go down to 3 prizes remaining. Ultra Ball from our opponent. We have 3 Mewtwo pieces in the discard. If we can find the last Mewtwo piece, we should be able to win by just KOing Squawkabilly. I think killing the Arc Alps kind of shut down this deck now. They are going to be able to take 2 prizes here, which is fine. Energy is in the discard. Collapse only does 150 damage, so we're not too worried about that either. Another basic energy draw is good. We'll go ahead and promote the Houndstone here. And we'll attach an energy and then do Psychic Embrace twice. This way we keep a little bit more energy in our discard. So we can Psychic Embrace to whomever we need to get out of the active or attack, like our Gardevoir. That'll be it for us. And 260 damage KOing the Snorlax here. And now our opponent can't really attack unless they get a double turbo or a... oh, what's that energy? Reversal energy onto that other Snorlax who's only doing 150 damage. And we have 220 HP remaining. So we should be okay. We have 2 prizes remaining as well. This Ultra Ball can get us that last Mewtwo piece, but we won't be able to put it in the discard. There's a Lumineon, which isn't going to work for our opponent. Spiritomb is in play. Another Snorlax comes down. But we should have this in the bag. A research from our opponent. Going down to 14 cards left. They're looking for a reversal, I'm assuming. Bravery Charm doesn't help the Snorlax. We are one-shotting it. And they do get a double turbo. So they must have a... and they flip tail, so they'll stay asleep. They must have a reversal energy in the deck somewhere. There's the last Mewtwo piece. But we can't retreat. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball away these 2. We can just grab a Greavard. Not that big of a deal. We can throw down the Mewtwo if we want to. We can't retreat. We can promote the Mewtwo, but yeah, let's promote the Mewtwo. We'll play the Mewtwo. We can promote it after it gets KO'd, the Houndstone, that is. And let's go ahead and take a KO on the Snorlax, and now we just have game. This colorless Lugia deck is not able to keep up with our Houndstone. We go down to 1 prize remaining. Let's take prize number 5 instead of prize number 1. A Houndstone. What do you know? They do promote the Squawkabilly. Can attack for 1 energy. But they KO our active. We should be able to win. They don't KO our active. We're going to win anyways. Do just need 1 energy. Ooh, they attach a Jet Energy to Snorlax, and that looks like that's going to be it. They don't have another way to attach an energy to it. So with that said, this should be over. Ooh, they do boss us, however. They boss up the Spiritomb. That's not going to do that much. We have an energy in hand, and we should be fine here. Just go back into the Houndstone. I had Mewtwo as a backup just in case the Houndstone got KO'd, but we can just retreat and they concede. And there goes a dub for the Houndstone deck. Regidrago. Okay, we're going up against the Reggies. Shouldn't be too difficult of a matchup. They did have to mulligan once, and I saw that they are playing Path to the Peak. So I actually don't want to play Artisan here. I want to only play that to counter the Path, because that'll shut down our us being able to accelerate energies to our Pokemon. They already have 2 energy in the discard. Was that a fire? It was a fire, so Regidrago can attack at some point. But funny enough, Klefki does shut off Regigigas' ability. They do play a Path. Question is, do I want to play Artisan? Because that does help them, but it also helps me as well. Let's go ahead and Level Ball, get down a Ralts. And we're going to attach to Klefki here. We're going to bounce the Stadium. We don't like Path. We're going to play Artisan to get down another Ralts. We don't need to get down Greavard just yet. We want to set up our Ralts first. And I also don't want to play Iona this turn. I'd rather them play a Research. Figure out a way to get what they're doing. I know I gave them Artisan, helps them set up. That's fine. It helps me set up too. And they're going to eventually play Path to the Peak to counter our Stadium anyways. They did get a Regice off the top deck. They're going to Artizone for another Gigas, but we're not worried about getting attacked unless they take Klefki out of the active with an Escape Rope or a Boss's Orders. Did they have a Research? They did. Getting rid of a Choice Belt, which is good. That means they can't use it on Mewtwo v Union. Heavy Ball. But the good thing is they can't accelerate as long as Klefki is in the active. So next turn we can Kirlia, get rid of the Mewtwo piece, and Iono. We may also want to put down Manaphy. I think we're going to bench Manaphy because of Regieleki as well. Regieleki can be scary, could pick off our Kirlias in 2 turns. So we are going to want to do that. But Klefki can stay in the active and continue jousting as much as possible for now. It's going to take them a little bit to get the Regidrago going. So let's throw down the Kirlia. Let's go ahead and use Artizone. And find that Manaphy. Put the Manaphy into play. And then we can Refinement away the Mewtwo piece. And actually Mewtwo's going to do a lot of work here as well. It can take multiple prize turns. We don't want to play any of those guys. Well, actually we can play a second Klefki. And let's go ahead and Iono. See if we can get down a Greavard this turn so we can start attacking. We can. Perfect. Okay, let's Level Ball. Grab another Klefki. Actually, let's grab Spiritomb because Spiritomb's useless. And then we can Ultra Ball that away. This gets out Greavard. Kirlia as well. And I don't think I want to draw anything with Kirlia, so we're just going to go ahead and Joust again. Could play Worker to bounce my own Artizone. We do have Pal Pad, so I don't mind actually discarding the Worker with Research. Did we get rid of Pal Pad yet? We did not. How much do we have the correct... Let's see. So Explosion does 16. So in 2 turns we can KO 2 different Regis. Spread out some damage. 110. At least 50 for somebody else. Interesting. They can go ahead and hammer in us for 30 damage this turn. We are going to play Research. I don't care about them having Artizone for now. We are going to lose Worker, but I know that we play Pal Pad, so we can get back Worker to bounce the Path to the Peak Stadium if they choose to play it or not. They are going to boss, so they can actually get Regidrago going. They are going to get our Kirlia here. So they do have access to Regigigas. They are going to be able to take the first prize, and we should be able to respond with a KO as long as we can draw into Gardevoir and Greavard EX and Energy, actually. We don't have any Energy in the discard. So we may not be able to get into our attacker this turn, but they are going to put 2 more Pokemon. That's 50 damage for Greavard. We'll see what we draw off the Research. Don't want to speculate too much. We'll see what we draw off the Research. Oh, they're going to retreat. They're going to go into Regieleki. Okay. They already used Regigigas' ability. Interesting. Well, let's go ahead and attach the basic energy to Kirlia. We may be able to retreat it this turn. Okay, let's go Houndstone EX for now. Ball Crystal. Grab an energy. That'll put... So we'll need to grab another energy with Fog Crystal. Level Ball can grab us a Klefki that we don't need. And we can see if we can Refinement hit into Gardevoir EX or an Ultra Ball. Those are not it. I actually should have discarded the basic energy. I didn't know what I was thinking there. That was a misplay on my part. We did find the Ultra Ball. So actually we can use the Ultra Ball to get rid of Mewtwo piece and basic energy. That hits us into our Gardevoir EX. We can evolve, and now we can Psychic Embrace. Touch an energy there. Say done. I think if we go into Houndstone, the Regidrago can KO us. We'll see. I think it can, can't it? So we're going to go down to 200 HP. They do 20 less damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, so they are doing exactly 200. So I guess we just go ahead and take the KO. I think they have another Regieleki in hand, but they also have access to Artazone anyways. Another basic energy is fine. So we're going to lose this Houndstone. We can attack with Gardevoir next turn. We are one piece away from Mewtwo. They promote Regirock. Do they not have Regieleki? Why would you promote Regirock? Oh, they might not have double grass energy. They don't. They only have a Luminous. That's why they couldn't attack with Regidrago. They didn't have a double grass energy. I forgot. This is a new kind of Regi deck where you have to have the specific energies to be able to attack with those Regis. So they can attack with Regirock since they have the fighting energy, but they needed a grass energy to attack with Regidrago, which is nice because now we can take a hit and now we can take a prize and be okay. We can also attach an energy to our Gardevoir, which can be an attacker at some point. It does have 290 HP, which is great. So Regirock can hit us for 140. We'll be fine with them hitting us for 140. We're going to keep around the Artazone, of course. We're going to Zinnia's Resolve away the Serena and possibly whatever we draw. Giga Impact for only 110. Oh, we have Fighting Resistance. How funny. Fighting Resistance is great. Fog Crystal, perfect. Yeah, let's get out the last basic... Actually, let's get out the Ralts. Let's go ahead and Zinnia away Ralts and Serena. There is the last Mewtwo piece. I don't like my mouse right now. It's really upsetting. And let's go ahead and Refinement away the last Mewtwo piece. Mewtwo's going to be a huge attacker when the time comes. And let's go ahead and pay our last respects to this Regirock. Get it out of here. KO it. Taking another prize. Now we're on a 2-prize lead, but they should be able to get a KO this turn. And Mewtwo can do some work next turn. Set up some multiple prizes, things like that. We don't need to put any more cards in the discard either. Would be nice for us to lose like a Klefki or something, so we can free up some bench space. We are missing a boss. We need to find our boss. I wonder if that's in the deck as well. I wonder if boss is in the deck. If boss is in the deck, we can trap something and just ping it with Klefki Joust just to put some damage. It'll make the game way longer than it needs to be, but that's okay. Okay, put an energy onto the Registeel. Regieleki does have enough energy to attack, and that is a KO. 290 damage. Boss's orders on the Manaphy. So they are going to want to start targeting our bench, which is fine. We can actually let them have a turn to target our bench. What? Oh, okay. It showed the 40 damage on the Kirlia, and I was like, say what? Oh, heck no. That was not good. Okay, we'll go up with the Houndstone. That's fine. They can take 1 prize. We'll go down to 3 prizes remaining. That actually gives us the option to play down a Greavard. Touch an energy to that bad boy. And we don't really need to do anything else this turn. We're just going to go ahead and pay some last respects to this Regieleki, get it out of here. And hope our opponent doesn't really Iono us either. Iono would hurt. Maybe I should play Serena to discard some of these Pokemon. Don't know if you can play Serena if you can't draw cards. We have no energy in the discard. All of our energy is in play. They promote the Regidrago. Does that mean that they have grass energy for Regidrago in hand? They took a prize. They can KO this Houndstone, and we will be even in the prize trade. Mewtwo is the one that's going to get us home, I think. Again, of course. But we can also force them to take a single prize going up against the Houndstone here. The baby Houndstone, that is. 80 plus 10 for each in the discard. Another boss's orders. Promote the Kirlia. We're stuck unless they KO it. Please KO my Kirlia. Please KO the Kirlia. Okay, they brought out another Regieleki. They can't retreat the Regidrago this turn. Please KO my Kirlia. I need to retreat this Klefki, so I can have some energy in the discard to retreat. I don't want to be stuck, so we're going to promote the Klefki if they KO Kirlia this turn, which doesn't look like they're going to. Oh, they're just going to hammer in for 30. That's a bit of a bummer. Let's go ahead and play Ultra Ball. Get rid of these. Probably should play a switch in here, but we don't. Go ahead and evolve. And let's pass the turn. Oh boy. Okay, hopefully they retreat into Regieleki and they just do some damage to our bench, which is fine. We have Super Rod to get back Manaphy. There's the Grass Energy into Regidrago. So they could manually retreat here, which is... I want them to manually retreat, and I want them to KO an active Pokemon so that I can start getting some energy in the discard. I think I've over-energized my Pokemon. So don't make this mistake. You can get stuck doing this. But if... I mean, they could stall me. I do have Iono, though, so I could not play any cards. I also have 2 Super Rods. It'll take some time to do that. Let's see what our opponent does here. Choice Belt doesn't help them increase damage anywhere. They play their Super Rod of their own, so they can put back in some Pokemon, which is fine. I think they really like having Artisan, otherwise they would play Path. But they may only play the one Path. I doubt it, though. Figure they play all 4. Dragon Energy taking the KO on Kirlia. Thank you. I'd appreciate that they take the KO on Kirlia. We'll promote the Klefki here. And then we'll go ahead and retreat the Klefki into the 2-prizer Houndstone. And then we will take the KO on the Drago. I know Regieleki can attack. I'm not worried about it. We have Super Rod Artisan to put back Manaphy. They can put damage wherever they want. I'm not too worried. They think I may not be able to get Manaphy back, but I can. I would like to put some more energy into my discard, getting it off of my Pokemon. If they KO this Houndstone, I'd appreciate it. Seems like they will do. So they're going to go down to 2 prizes remaining. We're going to KO Regieleki, go down to 1 prize remaining. And I don't think they have an answer for Gardevoir Houndstone. We might not even need Mewtwo. Yeah, you could even play this deck without Mewtwo V Union in here and just kind of go all in on the Klefkis and Spiritombs, and maybe there's some other psychic Pokemon like Mimikyu as well. Oh, we should put in Mimikyu. Mimikyu would be solid against Charizard. They don't have any non-EX attackers, non-V attackers. definitely put in Mimikyu. They are doing 640 damage to the Gardevoir. That puts it down to 250. Regidrago can do some damage to it. Go up with Houndstone here. Let's go ahead and Super Rod back in the Manaphy. And then play Artisan to put the Manaphy into play so that they can't hit my bench. And then we just go ahead and Psychic Embrace onto the Houndstone here. And we will be able to take KO on the Regieleki. That seems good. Last Respect for 210 damage. KO Regieleki, we go down to 1 prize remaining. Our opponent has to KO our Gardevoir. And they have to be able to do 250 damage. Regidrago is 10 damage short. They could have Vitality Band and they could have Defiance Band, which will get them there, plus a Boss's Orders, but I think we've seen them play 2 Boss's Orders. 3 Boss's Orders. I highly doubt they're playing 4, but they can be. So they need 2 cards here. A damage modifier plus another Boss's Orders. They could also Iono us to 1 this turn, but that won't make a difference because I can attack with Gardevoir or Mewtwo. They do research, so there's no Boss's Orders going. They could get an escape rope, but obviously I'm not going to give them Gardevoir EX, and we should be able to pull the win off here against these Regis, and I think it might be worth throwing in a Mimikyu into this deck. Maybe drop down 1 Klefki and throw in Mimikyu. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to put that in the deck list. I think Mimikyu in here would be better for specific matchups that only play EX and V Pokemon. A lot of decks do that. A lot of decks don't have those attackers. Throws them in the stink a little bit. Puts 7 damage counters on the active, which isn't bad. Pairs well with Mewtwo. I can't believe I didn't think of that when I was making this deck, but I'll talk about that in the deck list for sure, which you've already watched at this point. So good to know. Dragon Energy for 240 damage. That'll be game. We'll finish the game off with our Gardevoir here, since we can just go ahead and Psychic Embrace to it. Maybe they didn't find the Paths of the Peak, but we had Paths of the Peak counter, so we weren't worried about that at all. Gardevoir EX showing the power of just being able to attack every turn by accelerating these energies is insane. Miracle Force is going to KO these Regidrago, and we will take our last prize of the game. This actually was a pretty close game. I wasn't able to get Mewtwo out. I did bench lock myself, so learn from my mistakes. I make a ton of them so that you don't have to. And that's the dub. Another dub for Houndstone. Pretty solid deck here again. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching Houndstone go ahead and beat up on these Pokemon on the ladder. Being able to KO those Regis was pretty good. It was a close matchup, but yeah, I really enjoyed playing Houndstone. Different way to play Gardevoir. Houndstone EX does, I think, elevate that initial Houndstone deck that we did have. Mimikyu EX also, I think, elevates this, which I didn't have in the decks on this showcasing, but I am changing it in the deck list, and it will be down in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoy the content, and we'll see you next time on Crash Blade Gaming.